to the Black and Blue Live. Black and Blue Live. My name is Dale. I'm the host. Thank you for joining me here today. As you saw in that little preview there, I've got three gentlemen that are going to join us here today to talk about something really cool. These gentlemen are working in the community. They're helping out our youth. And let me bring them on one by one. This first gentleman here is he works for the University of California system as a police officer, but more importantly, he runs something called Oddballs Education Consulting. Everybody, please help me welcome in my man, Nicholas. Well, where is he?
Yeah.
There he is. Nicholas, where you at?
Right.
There he is. What's going on, man? A little technical difficulty.
Oh, good. How y'all doing today?
Yeah, good seeing you. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
And next up, this gentleman here is big in the community of Redlands. He runs something called Music Changing Lives. He's also a big community activist there in the community all over the Inland Empire here in California. Everybody, please help me welcome in my man, Josiah Bruni.
Yeah, what's up, Dale? Thank you for having us, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. And lastly, this gentleman here is a police officer down in the great, beautiful area of San Diego. But he also runs something called foundation called Young and Prosperous. Everybody, please help me welcome in my man, Chris Jones.
What's going on, y'all? Thanks for having me out.
Good to see you. Good. All right, let's bring everybody on here. All right, gentlemen.
All right.
Good to see you. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
Good to have you guys for Sunday.
Yes. So we got Chris, Nick, and Josiah here on the broadcast. We want to talk about, obviously nowadays we got a lot of things going on in the world with, the protest, the BLM, and all these things. But we want to talk about how we, as African Americans, minorities, can help shape this conversation. And you guys are doing that every day, working for your foundations and working the work that you do in the community. So first, let's start off with you, Nick. Why don't you tell everybody about your foundation and what are the roots of it?
Hey, everybody. My name is Nicholas Saxon Bemi. The name of my organization is Oddballs Consulting and Education. Ultimately, an oddball is anybody who feels like they've ever been discriminated against due to their personality or appearance. So whether you're black, white, brown, wherever you come from, everybody has been discriminated against for one reason or another. So with Oddballs, we use the four pillars of leadership, education, problem solving, and consulting to help young men and women get prepared for life. We want to help develop them as future service leaders who will go on to strengthen their communities.
Oh, okay. That's good stuff right there. And you, Josiah, what is your organization, and tell everybody what its roots are.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dell, again, for having me. So I'm the CEO and founder of Music Changing Lives, and we teach kids how to own their intellectual properties through the arts, any sort of art medium that they're looking to get involved in. And then we also are now engaged in also teaching them civic engagement and how to change policies within our communities. Thank you again for having us.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, Chris, tell everybody about your organization and what are its roots.
Sure. Like I'm gonna say again, thank you for having me. The organization is called the Young and Prosperous Foundation, and pretty much I founded this organization to be a resource to the community to promote personal growth and educational development. We pretty much reach out to kids and try to get them as much resources as possible, whether it's college tours, teaching them about careers, taking them on career tours and things like that. So that's pretty much what the organization is about.
All right. So let's talk about the somebody needs to mute their mic there. Let's talk about the antithesis, how this all came about. So Nick, you are a police officer, but you've been working in the community. How did all this come about that you decided you needed to start this organization?
Oh man, trying to make a long story short, growing up in the IE,
we got an hour. Go ahead.
I grew up in the Inland Empire, Rialto, and San Bernardino, which is predominantly Hispanic and African American. And I just saw a lot of things going on with young men and women of color just really not being awarded a lot of opportunities, especially when it came to like educational development, job opportunities, and things of that sort. So when I got to college, I joined a fraternity, And my line brethren died. We were calling ourselves the oddballs because we always felt we didn't really fit in. But we took it upon ourselves to really just separate ourselves and really better ourselves. So in 2018, after I saved up a little bit of money and I met with the CPA, I just said, hey, I want to get this thing started. I really want to, reach back into the community, help give scholarships and have community engagement events to really just bring people together, but also bring young men and women who want to get into public service or around millennials who are currently doing these professions so that they can really pick our brains and really see what it's like to do this job. So in 2019, we had an event called Dropping Knowledge, where we invited police officers, engineers, educators, entrepreneurs, social workers, healthcare workers, all of the millennial generation to really just drop knowledge on the young men and women at Cal State San Bernardino. And then we also ended up giving 5 scholarships to graduates of Carter High School, my alma mater, because we just really want to see young men and women prosper because they are the future.
All right. Yeah. Before we move along, I want to let everybody know, because I didn't say it in the beginning, this is a simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. You got some questions or concerns, comments for our guest here, go ahead, send them in, and I'll put them up on the screen, and everybody can weigh in on that. So again, we are simulcast right now, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Going back to you, Nick, you were talking about your organization. I got a clip here. Let's play this one here and talk a little bit about you and your organization. Check this out, everybody.
I feel like throughout all my different experiences, I was always overcoming adversity. But people also tell me, hey, like, you're a natural leader, and we want to see you continue to thrive in that. So Oddballs is a faith-based community organization. Oddballs was created off the 4 pillars of leadership, education, problem solving, and consulting. Ultimately, the goal is to develop future service leaders and strengthen communities. Some of the organizations or the just entities that have bought into Oddballs and who we partner with have been Covenant House in Los Angeles. They are a shelter who help young men and women between the ages of 18 to 25 find shelter, but also employment. Carter High School, annually they have the Young Men's Leadership Conference, where Oddballs will go and do a code switching workshop to help young men understand time and place and how to conduct themselves. We've also partnered with Cal State San Bernardino, where we've had our Dropping Knowledge Summit, where we invited social workers, police officers, nurses, and people in other public service fields to come and essentially share their knowledge with prospective students who want to go into these fields. Overall, we just partner with community. So the overall goal is to develop future service leaders while strengthening community. One thing and one amazing thing that Cal State has taught me is the acronym of LIFE, learning in spite of my failed experiences. From 2013, 2014 up until 2018, I never really did anything about it because there were the people who were saying, oh, if you start your own business, you're not going to be successful. People are going to buy into what you're doing. People won't see value in what you're doing. And then ultimately, honestly, I was probably my biggest doubter because I didn't see the value of myself. Once I kind of pushed the naysayers to the side and really just focused on what it is I wanted to do with it, little by little, things just started to unfold. And then the community honestly bought into what I was trying to do. And it just gave birth to itself. There's a lot of separatism. I would want people to come together because, again, as a man who believes in God, as a man who loves community, you can't have community when you have groups of people who are divided. You can't have community when you have people who don't buy into uplifting the community. So I want people to remember me as someone who just always did the best he could to serve others, but also serve God. The way Oddballs fits into that is we do everything with love and compassion. That's why we have the heart as opposed to an O to start off the word, because everything is with love and compassion. We use the whole color of the rainbow because we're an all-inclusive, non-discriminatory organization. So whether you're Hispanic, African-American, Asian, homosexual, heterosexual, no matter what you subscribe to, we want to be of service to you in the best way that we possibly can be. I think that people need to know that CSUSB is the land of opportunity. Getting onto the campus now as a student, I was able to see the Greek and student leadership life. I was able to see just the overall educational programs and opportunities, the internships, housing opportunities, again, to be an RA and a hall coordinator. My girlfriend is a CSUSB alumni. Some of the people who I still meet with monthly.
Yeah, that's some good stuff right there, Nick. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Cut that short a little bit. Yeah, and I will say you look good in there, man. You put on a little.
Thank you.
Yeah, you pushing up a little weight there, huh? How long has this organization been around?
About a year and a half now.
About a year and a half. Okay.
Okay.
And it sounds like you've done a lot of different events everywhere. Where was this knowledge summit? Where was that one at?
Cal State San Bernardino.
Okay. Nice. I appreciate you and what you're doing there. Next up, Chris, your organization, Young and Prosperous. What sort of yeah, there you go. What sort of people that you deal with that is basically kids in high school and younger? What sort of opportunities and programs are you doing for them?
We have a lot of different opportunities, man. We pretty much go from elementary school all the way to high school, whether it's pizza with a cop and just trying to, just be a positive influence and a positive officer in the community, to middle school and just helping kids with after school tutoring and, providing mentorship with them. We've taken kids to different, career days like Cox Communication, pretty much taking them to UCLA to get them experiences and exposure to go to college. And pretty much, man, just being a research. I mean, I just finished a cohort which is called Career 101, which taught kids for 4 weeks how to interview, about resumes, about cover letters, do's and don'ts of, what to do when you go into an interview, how to dress. And each one of those kids, once they completed the 4 week session, we're giving a internship to a business within the community that they live in. So we're pretty much, we pretty much look for resources to help kids to get ahead. And I pretty much started this because of the lack of resources I had when I was growing up. I think so. I think about, how much farther my life would have been if I would have had somebody teach me financial literacy or to take me, to college tours so that I can see what the people look like. And, from the first time I stepped on campus, I wouldn't be intimidated. So I try to provide those type of resources to the kids throughout the city and county of San Diego.
No doubt, no doubt. And what was it that really sparked you to want to go ahead and do this? I mean, how did everything start?
Just, man, I was pretty much, when I started off, I was in between working as a child placement specialist and right before I became an officer, and wanted to make sure that I was grounded in the community still. Being a law enforcement officer, I was, I didn't grow up wanting to be a law enforcement officer, and I didn't know too many people that was actually out there being, police officers. So I didn't know how it was going to go, but I know that I wanted to stay connected to the community. So when I started this organization, that's pretty much what it was about, trying to make sure that, I kept 2 feet on the ground, that I kept my, myself grounded to the community. And once I got in, I started seeing the different avenues that I could go in, even with being a police officer. And and just trying to be that positive role model, especially in today's time where people want to see and need to see, us in uniform and out of uniform doing positive things. So.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And then Josiah, so you're not an officer, but like I said, you were very involved in the community out in Redlands and the whole Inland Empire. I would even say probably even further than that. And Nicholas agrees with that. He's seen you around. Tell everybody well, first of all, how you started. What's your background in music, and then we can go from there.
Man, music actually changed my life. And again, like I said, thank you for having us on here. And I salute you officers for what you're doing as well in our communities. I started, my older brother was an artist, and I started as a street team manager. And then I found my passion in life, which was actually just promoting artists. And from there, I was in high school at the time, and I started working for Priority Capitol Records. And I think Master P was the first campaign that was out. And to see that brother do it all independent and just like, man, it just set me on fire. And so after going on tour with him and then a couple of others like Ice Cube, being able to promote his project and doing things like that in the community, it just set me on fire to say one day I had to come back to our community and teach budding artists that they could do the same. And so we set on this venture back in 1998 to just teach entrepreneurship and kids how to own their intellectual properties in music and arts. And now it's this robust after school program to where we teach music, art, fashion, film, and more.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. How you guys funded?
Man, a lot of earned income. So you see these hats, you know, I need to buy some of these hats.
Yeah. I like that hat.
You know, the hat. I got the 3D.
Yeah, we gonna have to do an exchange.
Yeah, I got you. You know,
Right.
silk screening. We do silk screen T-shirts. Man, everything. Murals. We do community murals. We just did a community mural. Sponsorship. Shout out to all our sponsors. Grants. I mean, it's literally about 10 to 12 different funding streams that I utilize. We even have our own water bottle and a jewelry line that we just launched. So we've tried everything under the sun, from selling candles to incense, my brother. So whatever is positive and legal
Yes.
that we can do, of course, we do it. And we teach kids, like I said, to own their intellectual properties at it. Some of our students right now were failing students and had no idea what they wanted to become. As soon as we taught them how to read music and play music, the one gentleman I'm thinking about, young Curtis Brooks, man, he's now #1 on Neo Jazz Soul. So if y'all like jazz music, check out Curtis Brooks, Relax.
All right, Curtis Brooks. And here's a little clip about your organization, Music Changing Lives. Everybody check this out.
Music is the enterprise, changing lives all the time. These rhymes is the sound with you in mind. Let's rise. Music is the enterprise, changing lives.
Goals. This is an example, but you'd like to do in many cities, everywhere. All the kids, they know they have to keep it 2.5 or higher to be in the program.
Like music, it's just sometimes I'm nervous.
I mean, I've been wanting to do something with my music for a long time, and now I have a place I can come and actually make that vision come true.
Destiny, it was written. I'm ice cold and ice slow. Get this microphone with a ice hole. Follow my flow like a disciple. Deface your mind and vandalize your thoughts. Those are my technique, and now I speak and now I talk. And now I breathe.
Changing lives in the building. We're here with Mayor Harrison, all our students. It's going down, lights on after school. I want to thank all of my contributors for helping this day come.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad I could join all of you here in the recreation center. I used to come here when I was a little bit younger than I am today, and I used to play basketball and volleyball in the gymnasium, and it's always been a great facility for the city. And today we're celebrating some new programs that we have here at the Recreation Center. And these programs are so important for the youth of our community, like those of you here today. That's what this Recreation Center provides for all of you and provides for the community of Redlands, a place where our kids can go.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So that's a little dated. I noticed some people there at the PD that are no longer there at the PD, but that's all good. That's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's what's up. So you have a little studio. We gotta mention to people that's in one of the recreation buildings in the city of Redlands. Tell people about that.
Yeah, so man, now we took what was once a locker room and built 2 full-blown studios. So you can now come for $50 a month and record and track your own mix and your own masters pieces. And then we've also added an art room to where now you can silk screen, make your own clothing, and also your own design projects as well.
Yeah, I love that. That's giving it right there.
Yeah, pure entrepreneurship. We want to teach them how to fish, so that we can give them positive peer pressure. When I first started this program, I realized if you could teach an individual how to make legal money, we could end a lot of the problems within our communities. That's one of the #1 issues that we have. If you look at any of the situations where you got criminals or people trying to do some criminalizing, it's usually the greed for trying to get some sort of money. And then some people are taking it too far, where you see, of course, the American greed. But I mean, it's just like most of our people are really just struggling to get out the box and learn something different.
Yeah, no doubt. And still thinking about art. I see, Chris, you got something behind you that's pretty artful. Tell everybody what that's about.
Yeah, so one of the schools that I work with, man, that I'm associated with, all the kids painted this art that's behind me. They have a couple different programs, have an art program, a technology program, and it's kind of like what the young man was just saying right there, that we're teaching them how to basically make their own art and sell their own art and teaching them how to be entrepreneurs. So like every single piece that's painted behind me is painted by a kid that goes to this school. So
Love that. Love that. Yes. So, gentlemen, how do you reach the people that you're trying to reach? How do you get them? How do they get involved with your programs? Nick, tell everybody how this gets started with someone that's interested.
Well, for me, first and foremost, I just tap into my network. Like I stated, I went to Carter High School and I went to Cal State San Bernardino. So between high school and college, I just built a network of administrators, teachers, and other people who are in public service as well. For those who are interested, they can reach out to us on Instagram, or they can reach out to us on our website. On the homepage, we have a contact us, so you could just go down there, type in your message, and it automatically goes to our email. And within about 5 days, somebody reaches out to you, and just we collaborate moving forward.
No doubt. And Chris, is usually the people at the schools that you visit. Is it other people that get involved with your foundation? How do they get usually picked to go or know about you, or how do these kids get selected?
Absolutely, man. It's just being grounded in the community. I'm lucky to be able to grow up work in the community that I actually grow up in. So, and also be a part of a lot of the people that are running the city right now. I grew up with them. So whether it's, I'm getting contacted on Instagram to come do pizza with a cop at Del Soro Elementary School. Um, People, just contact me and say, hey, I know this kid that needs a little bit of help, a little bit of mentoring. I'll reach out to him. Sometimes, shoot, even as of last week, man, I went on a call with a young man who, was sitting in the house bored and was, getting into trouble. So pretty much hooked him up with a contact to go play soccer just through resources that I know through the community. So it's just different avenues, man, whether it's at schools that I know, administrators that I know within the schools. Being at Lincoln High School, I know one of the administrators there, and just as of yesterday, me and one of the people that I work with, Miss Muhammad, we volunteered to help out for a gift giveaway for the seniors during their drive-by graduation. So, just being grounded in the community, man. People, a lot of people that I grew up with still live in my community. They know how to reach me. So anytime they call, I get to going. So
No doubt, that's what's up. And again, I want to mention again that this is simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Please send in your comments and questions, and we will definitely get that. We got a Darius Harris. He just wants to show some love for everybody here on the panel. So thank you there, Darius. And last, again, Josiah, how do you reach your people? How do they get involved usually with Music Changing Lives? You go out and actually recruit them? You guys go into the schools? How's that working?
Yeah, thank you, Dale. So we go out several ways. We have a wrap truck that's used for promotion that has all of our, a few of our main students that we're promoting. And we go take those to special events like community block parties and things of that nature. But mainly word of mouth. Since 2008, we were the only studio where you could pay a monthly fee of like $20 a month to come to record. I mean, and I've been challenging people to find something like this, and you can't. And so we were blessed to have that type of scenario to where kids can come and just pay a monthly fee instead of an hourly rate. So that like kind of just put us on the map. And then Music Changing Lives at Instagram. They can find us on Instagram, Facebook, social media. That's been a big platform for us as well. It's really taken us international. We've done things now in Haiti, London, Australia, all over, doing it all on the internet now. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So you get to travel a little bit. Yeah.
Before COVID.
Yeah. Right. Before COVID.
Before COVID.
Definitely. Yeah. I've seen you got some. Let's see if I can bring that up here. See if you can talk about this event here.
Oh,
what's this one about?
Simon Cowell, we took the kids down to watch X Factor. And Nick Cannon and them were there, and it was a beautiful day. I think, this was America's Got Talent, actually. Yeah, that's America's Got Talent. And we've done so many with our students. We took the kids from Redlands and all over there, and they got to meet the cast. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's see if we get another comment up here. Jennifer Wilkie's viewing from YouTube. She says here for Josiah,
Oh,
as
wow.
well as to listen and learn. So thank you,
Love
Jennifer.
Love you, Jen. I think that's Jen, if I'm not mistaken. That's one of our artists as well.
Okay.
She was a student artist, if that's the Jen I know. And she, man, did a coloring book for us that actually through COVID-19, kids were able to download free coloring pages. So thank you, Jen, for your support. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. That's why I wanted to ask you guys about success stories based on your programs. Chris, any success stories that you've helped kids, move along through after high school, and anything prosperous that happened with them?
Absolutely, man. Well, one of the stories I continue to tell because I'm so proud of this young man is my relationship that I have with this young man named Muhammad. I've been probably mentoring him for about 4 years now, just to see where he came from, not really into school, not knowing what he wanted to do. Until now, the kid has a 4.0, three-sport star, wants to be in the FBI, constantly doing positive things in the community. Is a testament to his hard work, you know what I mean? But it makes me so proud to actually be a part of his life and see where his journey is, from start to finish. I have another kid that I helped, he needed a couple, he needed some money to help go to one of his dream schools. I was able to raise funds for him to actually go to Morehouse, and now he's at Morehouse doing big things. I have a lot of different kids, man, that I help in the community, whether it's, just mentoring them and starting from one area, maybe not even caring about school to just right now having, I think I have like 4 or 5 kids in my program right now that have 4.0s that, are now looking to go to college. And, hopefully, I'm pushing them to go to historical Black colleges and universities when once upon a time, they didn't even know what that was.
Yeah.
So, it's just opening their eyes, man, and trying to be that positive mentor to them and then watching all their hard work, propel them to where they want to be.
No doubt. No doubt. Success stories for you, Nick. Any with oddballs? Any success stories there?
I mean, nothing recent, just due to COVID, having to pivot a little bit and switch to digital engagement. But prior, like I said, we gave 5 scholarships out to Carter High School, and there were 2 sisters who were actually twins, but at some point they had gotten separated. And just due to like some familial stuff, drugs and just crime and people going to jail, they ended up coming back together, and they both ended up getting full ride scholarship to the colleges of their choice. So just really hearing their story, and then later on, they actually reached out after receiving the scholarship money, because the way it was set up is you cannot receive the scholarship until you actually confirm and enroll in your classes. And they were able to say that, hey, something happened with the scholarship they received from the university, but the money that we were able to help them out with was able to kind of get them by until the financial aid kicked in. So that was pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, real cool. Real cool. Appreciate that. And going back to our simulcast, our question earlier, Jennifer said, yes, that is her, Josiah. So that is her.
Yes,
right. We appreciate you, Jen. And, going back to some of your successes, you got one here in particular that I want to play here. Check this out, and you can tell us about him after I get done with this. So check this out, everybody.
Amorcito corazón, yo tengo tentación de un beso que se prende en el calor de nuestro gran amor, mi amor. Yo quiero ser un solo ser, un ser contigo. Sensación de un beso mordelón quisiera, amorcito corazón, decirte mi pasión por ti, compañeros en el ver y al
Ah, that's what's up. Who was that? Who was that young man right there? Who is
That's
that?
my guy, Pedrito, man. Hey, the young Suavito, Swagadicious. Young 11-year-old, man, killing the game. I've
Yeah,
been mentoring that young guy for about 3 years now, going on 4 years. And when he came to me, he only played the trumpet. Now he plays the harp. He can DJ and sing and serenade a person like no other. Uh,
yeah,
confidence is out the roof, as you can tell. You know
no
what I'm saying?
doubt.
But that's what we do, man. Music changing lives. We're here to just birth the budding artists and teach them that they too can do it, but then also to show their family how to own it from the gate. So shout out to his mom and his dad, because I mean, ultimately they're the ones really doing the hardest part, which is taking him to all the shows, taking him to all the practices, and really believing in his dream. It's kind of like that Bible scripture where it says, raise a child as how they want to be raised up, and then they won't fall away, right? And so we just try to make sure that we're constantly giving the kids what they want and making their dreams come true.
Yeah, that's what's up. Love that. Yeah, you got to put in the work. He sounds
Totally.
like he's putting in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it. He's doing it. So another comment on Facebook. We got a Janesse Petro. She just wants to say, great job to all of you. Proud of you, cousin Chris L. Jones. So we got some fam up in here. We appreciate you. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. Again, this is simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Send in your questions and comments. We got another one here on Facebook. Tamara Michelle. Hello, gentlemen. Thank you all for the hard work that you do for the children. It is all much appreciated. And that one goes out to Young and Prosperous, another Chris Jones fan there. You got a little fan club here with you, Chris. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah. So, success stories. That's what all this is about. So, us doing this and everything is kind of help mold the future. And that's what we want to do. But right now we got some things going on. I know, Josiah, we wanted to talk about, positive change that we can help enact with all these things that are going on. Why don't you talk about the meetings that you had and some of these organizations that are kind of helping enact this change?
Man, so again, thank you for this opportunity to voice what we are doing in our community. One of the main things that we're doing are these day of healings, and my guy Nick was on it with us, man, and I just can't wait to meet him formally, because just seeing and interacting with him on that virtual call, it let us know how much in common that we do have. For us to see an officer tell us from his heart and his perspective what he's going through, and then hear us out and to hear what we're going through, and to say, okay, how can we get to some common ground, has been really our main focus. Because yes, we are upraised, we're outraged from what's going on for years now, to the Black community, Black and brown community, and we need to bring change. But what I said is I didn't want to come in at it with a bunch of fierce yelling and just things that get us nowhere, burning down bridges or homes and relationships and things like that. We wanted to say we are one. We are one unit. We got to get through this together. Let's take it back to the roots. And so I went to one of the oldest foundations, the NAACP. I told them my vision. Shout out to my guy, Chache Wright. He's seen it off top. He felt the same way. He was like, I don't want to just take this to no screaming match. So what can we do? And so we were like, let's first try to heal within ourselves, so we're not mad and internally all messed up, and we could get out properly what we want to do within our community, and then look at policies that are around the world doing change. And so one of those was the 8 Can't Wait that we have found. And it's 8 policies that could be enacted to help reduce police brutality by 72%. And then another one was civilrights.org is saying, okay, yes, you want the police department to do some community, but we as ourselves need to do something to kind of police ourselves and start being responsible for what's going on in our communities and offer support to the officers, because they're dealing with things that sometimes they shouldn't be dealing with. And we understand that as well. And so that's what we're really trying to get across now is how can we help each other and how can we come up with definitive answers that can change so that we're not here 10, 20 years down the line talking about the same thing, and my kids aren't sitting here trying to defend their civil rights. As I mentioned before we came on, the sad part about us as African American men, we've always felt like we've been hunted from all sides. It's not just police brutality; it's our own communities we're afraid of as well too. That we got to be thinking of, and is this man or this woman against me, and da 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 da. So for years we've had to come at everything in a forceful way and thinking about how to change something negative into positive. And so I'm just optimistic that this can be that one changing force where we dynamically change it for good now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Gentlemen, Chris and Nick, being African-American officers dealing with this, how has this affected you personally, going to work, having to deal with it with your peers, with the people out there in the community, and these kids that you're dealing with? How's this affected you, Chris?
Kind of affected us deeply, especially me, man. Now, like I said, I'm grounded into my community, so having to answer a lot of questions from kids that I'm mentoring about what's going on and the fear that they have, kind of touches deep because me having a relationship with them, I don't want them looking at me in a certain light. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm bringing them around law enforcement officers as well. I'm trying to get them to the opposite of what is being shown and the opposite feeling of what they're feeling right now, is what I'm trying to say. So, it's a complex situation, man. It's going to take people like the people that are on this call right now doing the positive things that they're doing, you know what I mean, and open up those avenues of communication, to especially the youth, you know what I mean. So like you said, so we're not 20 years down the line. I got nephews and cousins, that I don't want them to, have negative, contacts with the police department, even though I have them, meet police officers all the time, and and bring them to police officer functions. They still have that fear, because of what they're seeing and what they're going through when they leave me and actually have to go into the world and have to be Black men in this community. So yeah, man, it's a constant struggle, man, of the education that I'm trying to do with my peers. And because believe me, man, it happens. After roll calls, people asking me questions about what's going on, and not understanding, and me trying to give that education to them about how I'm feeling, one, and two, how my community is feeling. Because once I leave and I take that uniform off, I'm in the exact same community that people are having issues with. I literally live in the community that people so called say is the worst. So I'm right in the middle of it, no matter what, whether in uniform or out. So I fully appreciate you, man, and the dialogue that you're opening up with the 8 Can't Wait, and I'm for it, man. Anything you can get, anything you need from me, I'm with it. So
No doubt.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Nick, how's this affecting you and the people that you come in contact with on the daily?
Oh man, I'm trying to make it make sense. So first and foremost, I thank Josiah for the day of healing. That was awesome because it really came at a very pivotal time. Like Chris just said, once I take the uniform off, I still remember that I'm another Black man who lives in these communities where things are taking place. And outside of my uniform, I like to wear my Nikes and my Jordans. I'm chilling, and I hate to say it, but it's almost just like it just reminded me that anything can happen. And if you don't know who I am as an individual, I might be mistaken for something else that's really not what it is, not knowing that, hey, I'm law enforcement just like you. And it took me back to why I became a police officer. When I was in college, I was a hall coordinator / RA. And one of the residents I knew was unfortunately shot and killed by police. And at that same time was when Black Lives Matter had just started. And a lot of people were saying, police officers do not like men and women of color. They don't like Black people. And I've never really been a complainer. I've always tried to be a problem solver. So I said, hey, instead of complaining about the demographic of people who are patrolling our community, why don't you join law enforcement? And then you could be that change you want to see. So I ended up, becoming a probation corrections officer and then becoming a police officer. And what I've been doing now to try to educate people is I've been attending post-commission meetings. For those who don't know, California has Peace Officer Standards Training Division. And a lot of what our penal code, vehicle codes come from posts, which comes from legislation. I'm trying to educate people. All these things come from legislation. So if you're not attending these town hall meetings, these commission meetings, if you're not educating yourself on the assembly bills, the Senate bills, and what these things truly mean, can you even really have a voice to, I mean, you have a voice, but can you really complain when you're not even trying to fill the space that you can rightfully and freely fulfill? So I said, hey, you don't always have to be a police officer or a probation officer or corrections officer. It's not for everybody, but you can get involved in the politics, or you can get involved in the city government. You know, you can do these things. So that's something that I was telling Josiah and others at the Day of Healing, is that I have now taken upon myself once or twice a month to actually reach out to posts and say, hey, can we have a side meeting? And I was just telling my buddy earlier today, All Balls has really been for young men and women to teach them leadership. But now I'm trying to take it upon myself to use my criminal justice degree as well as my master's in public administration to really reach out to posts and say, hey, can I come up there and can I really come and see what change we can do for the industry of law enforcement, but then also come back to the community and tell others, like, hey, this is what you need to start doing. Because at the end of the day, for us in law enforcement, we're probably familiar with Sir Robert Peel, the father of modern day policing. And he had his multiple principles about what community oriented policing looked like. And in order for the police to gain the public trust, it's a moral obligation for both parties to do their job. The police police the people, but the people police the police. But like Josiah, I mean, like Chris says, sometimes we even go to our community, we have issues looking over our shoulder about our neighbors. So we just all have to do a good job of moral obligation of those things.
Yeah, that's well said. Well said. Appreciate that. Again, I want to mention that we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Send in your questions and comments. Jessica Bruni, I think she's related to somebody here, just wants to give some love.
Little sis, make that
clear. Okay. And then Toya Addison says, blessings to all of you for your work with our young people. And she's joining us on Facebook. We appreciate you, Toya, for chiming in with us. Gentlemen, where do we go from here? I mean, we got these kids that we've got to educate, that we've got to mentor, that we've got to protect, and make sure that they are our future. Where do we go from here, Josiah? I know you're out here in the community on the daily.
I'm calling on y'all right now. We got it. We're doing peace rallies. We're about to take Route 66, the historic Route 66, and we're doing these peace rallies and mural paintings, block parties. We're going to find buildings to paint on and do community organized murals to show and teach our kids the history of where our cities came from. Sort of like what we did with Israel Bill Park. You know how we got that park dedicated to Israel Bill. He was one of the slaves that was freed from the Emancipation Proclamation, but came to Redlands and developed what's known as the Ligonian area. So we're going to be getting stories like that from all people of color that have come from all walks of life throughout the Inland Empire and going throughout Route 66 and painting murals and canvases. And we're going to be calling on you guys. It's going to start in Rialto. August 1st is our first launch date. So Rialto, here we come. Stand up. After that, we got 15 other cities that we're going to be doing and calling on. So Redlands, all of them that mob through Rialto, Route 66, we will be calling on you for these Day of Peace and Day of Healings that we will be doing in our communities.
Yeah, that's what's up. And we can go all the way down to San Diego. So we ain't gonna leave you out, Chris.
Hey, for sure. Diego, you gotta, yeah.
Don't leave me out, man. I'm trying to be a part.
No doubt.
Hey, go to the 15. The 15 is part of the Route 66. So I gotta get the 15 to come to Diego, right? There we go there.
There we go. There we go. Real quick. On YouTube, Shay Wright says, music changing lives. She's a fan of what you're doing. And she says, peace on Route 66. He or she, I'm sorry, Shay. I can't tell what that picture is, that avatar. And she says, no justice, no peace mural. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. And Brian Seeger says, thank you for this. We appreciate you. And also David Duke. This is another David Duke, but this one says Chris L. Jones is his dude. So he's all our dude. We appreciate you, Chris. We appreciate you, David. Thank you for joining us, on Facebook. So again, when we get out of this, hopefully soon, out of this COVID, and let me ask you too, how's COVID affecting you guys' foundations, you guys' programs? How's it affecting you, Chris? How's it COVID? And I'm sure it's slowed down with the schools because there's no school, but with your program, how's it working?
COVID hit hard, man. Something special, right? Just waiting, man. I had programs lined up that I had for schools that, pretty much got shut down. Now it's just a wait and see because we just don't know, what school is going to be, what schools are going to open up, how many schools are actually going to have students there versus, distance learning. So, it's a wait and see process. And, I'm hoping the schools come back long as it's safe, but, it is hitting hard because you don't know necessarily what you can do. I have kids hitting me up on a daily, they want to go practice basketball or they want to do certain things, but without the parks opening up, without the schools opening up and not having, facilities for these kids to go to, man, it's rough. It's rough.
So the parks are closed down too down there?
Well, they're open to the public to some parts, but like some basketball courts, they're not open. Shoot, even like I don't know if you saw in like New York, they were taking the rims down. There's some outdoor courts out here where they took the rims down out here, so we can't even take the kids to the outdoor courts. And they're looking for outlets. And like in most major cities, man, if especially inner cities, when the summertime comes, that's when the drama and the nonsense starts. These kids have been locked up in the house because of COVID, on house arrest pretty much, for I don't know how long. And now they want to get out. It's about to be hot. And, the outlets, man, it's just, I'm hoping and I'm praying that, these gyms open up at the schools, kind of let, facilities be open and, we can get these kids some activities and some positive things going.
No doubt. No doubt. I'm feeling it myself because my gyms are just now starting to open up. So I can finally get back in there so I can look swole like Nick.
Yeah, Nick got to put us on the bodybuilding plan. All of
yeah.
The regular man.
For real. Josiah, how's the COVID stuff? How's it affected your operations?
Man, COVID has affected us drastically. I had 3 community centers I was running at the time, and one about to open up in Riverside. We were just about to do our grand opening to the Youth Innovation Center. We had spent the city alone spent 8 years building this building or just negotiating it. And then it took us 2 years to get it developed and built. And now COVID has like paused all that. We then had 6 school sites that we were running as well. And we're scheduled to take our showcase for the first time ever on the road. So we should have been in Las Vegas as of yesterday performing with all of our students at the T-Mobile Arena and all of these different things, man. So it's affected us drastically, but it's also helped us in another light because now all of our programs are virtual. So I'm the type, I wasn't going to stop. I had to give my kids something. And so we did our first ever virtual showcase. So I'm proud of my staff for that. And then I'm also proud of my team because we learned how to be a resource in the time of need. So we now partner with Impact, my guy, Edward Brantley, and we feed about 25,000 people a week through our drive-through food distribution chains. We're also partnering now with IEHP, and they're helping to bring volunteers to keep it expanded. So it's a great time. We're taking this negative moment and trying to make it something historic.
Yeah, sounds like you definitely are. You gotta flip the switch there a little bit and do what you got to do to keep staying, keep staying. So a couple more comments here. Tamara Michelle says, Young and Prosperous adopted a few students to assist them in preparing for college. You remember that there, Chris? Also says we also delivered snacks to shut in students to perk them up. And last but not least, she says, Rona won't stop us.
Hey, Tamara sound like my board chair for you, man. She reminds you of everything you didn't say. I love it.
Yeah.
She's a writer, man. She's a writer.
And Nick, how was to round this out, how's Corona affected your operations with oddballs?
Similar to Chris and Josiah, man. Kind of like, well, similar to Chris more so. Had a couple things lined up with some schools and another college to come in and even put on academy style instruction. And then Corona hit, and it's like, hey, you know what? We got to reel it back because we don't know if school will be in session. We don't even know what the funds will look like. So on the flip side, though, like Josiah said, it's kind of stretched me now and others to start to put together digital and virtual courses. So in case they do end up doing distance learning, but they still want to proceed, we can still kind of tap in via Zoom or StreamYard to do that. Unfortunately, though, as well, as we all know, some families have lost jobs or they haven't received stimulus packages or things of that sort. And some of the students, they don't even have internet at home or computers. So it's really just like a standby and wait and trying to find different ways to engage.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it's hit all of us one way or another, and we gonna, like I said, we're gonna come out the other side stronger because we got some different avenues now with this. So, Josiah, you mentioned your showcase earlier. Let's put that up there on the screen.
Yes, we're doing a tobacco poster campaign right now as well. So if any artists are watching and you want to do a poster contest with us, tobacco free, enter. And then on that changingliveshowcase.com, you can watch all of our talented students as well that competed in this year's showcase. And we're going to be hosting them virtually for cities across the state now. So we're going to be giving kids something active to do, free of charge, so that they can stay active and stay doing something positive. Because as Chris mentioned, during summertime, this is when they really get agitated, and we want to keep kids as positive as possible. So we're going to be interacting them with poetry, art, dance, film, everything that they could do from their cell phone and to compete. So be looking out for those calls to announcements. And we hope you guys will help sponsor it out there as well virtually, because we want to give them prizes and things like that. And again, just make this all free for our students.
Yeah. So what was that showcase? What sort of talent pools was that? That was music, was it dance, was it everything? What?
Yeah, so we got music, art, dance, disc jockey, and instrument were the categories that they could enter into. And now we're doing like poster contests. We're going to do poetry slams. And so they could just go right on there and submit their creative works. And it's all uploadable. It's all free. It costs them nothing. And then we'll be hosting showcases for them to where we could have cities competing. So it'd be like San Diego versus Rialto versus Moreno Valley and San Diego, da 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 da. But we're gonna take this globally. So Chris, that's how we're gonna get you involved. I see you. We're gonna get our first poster contest for all them artists that you got on that wall. They should enter into that tobacco-free poster contest. They could win $200 for this one, and then their imagery will go on 5,000 postcards that are going to be mailed throughout the county. And we're going to try to get bus stops and bus promotions as well for their advertisement.
Yes, love that. So let me get a few more comments in. Carol Peters, I think she's related to somebody here. That's my mama. She says, these brothers are making me very proud. So thank you for that, Mama. Love Mama for supporting the show and supporting these brothers here. Shay Wright again says July 31st is the Black Table Talks, social justice conversation with the community. Meet the person behind the black skin and the person behind the black law enforcement uniforms.
We need y'all there, fellas. Yes. Black Table Talks. We're going to shut down the whole block and actually have a table talk about things like we're doing now. How can we continue these motives? How can we continue to show us what we're doing in life? Because the news just ain't doing it. Let's be real. Chris, I should know about you. I should know about all balls. Dale, I should have been done on about this. You know what I mean? But not enough people are highlighting the good that we're doing in our community. Instead, they're quick to highlight the negativity, but won't talk about the positivity. So you got to meet us in full life.
No doubt. And then that's why we got to do it on our own. So, you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and we all, and the brothers on the panel are all doing their thing so we can get it out there. So, because like you said, they're not promoting, they're not telling those positive stories. We know what they're doing. So And then Shay again says in Rialto City and San Bernardino with the NAACP and the NCNW. So, and Ty Hunter on Facebook says, proud of you, my brothers. You four are what the world does not see. So exactly what we've been talking about. Appreciate you, Ty, on Facebook. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Final thoughts. What are some challenges your organizations face from here, Chris? What are some challenges that you and your organization face moving forward?
We kind of touched on it, man. Like the biggest challenge right now is just the coronavirus, man, and not knowing what what things are going to look like. That affects funding. That affects programming. That affects how the opportunities and things we can give to kids, because like I said, nobody really knows what's going on, or when it's going to go down, or if a vaccine is going to come, or whatever the situation is. So all of us pretty much in the world want to keep our kids safe, and all our kids in the community safe. So it's kind of puts a hold on things. So that's like the biggest challenge to me. It's just kind of the wait and see process, because I got things and I'm ready to go. So we about to hit the ground rolling and get these kids back active.
You definitely on waiting. We all on pins and needles. We want to get out here. So yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. What about you, Nick? Challenges for you and your organization moving forward?
Man, I feel like I just echo Chris, honestly. But just try to get more virtual. Post some inspirational things on Instagram just for people to see and keep in the back of their mind. But yeah, hopefully school opens back up, because we want to engage the students.
Yeah, we do. We do. And Josiah, I know you got something to say. What's some challenges for your organization and you moving forward?
Well, right now our biggest challenge is our business plan was jumped up by 5 years, so we weren't planning on going really virtual like this for another 5 years. I was looking at a ground and pound campaign, so now I have to go digitally, and that's like a big challenge for me because I'm just used to the street teamwork. But also, it's like been a challenge because as an arts organization, we've had to start teaching people again why arts are so essential. During these times. They're looking at just the health pandemic, the PPE, things like that, but not seeing how art really is calming people's minds and mentals, how it could be a healer, how our day of healings that we do with our students are now healing officers and individuals. So those type things are the biggest challenges that we need to get people to realize, is that we have opportunities to heal our community, and let us be the second responders that we are and heal our people.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I appreciate what you do, because we need the community. Like someone said earlier, the police the community, but the community polices the police. So we need both sides of this equation for us to be successful. And I appreciate what you do, and I'm sure that the other two gentlemen here appreciate what you do, and we love it, man. We love it. So one last comment before we get out of here. Amanda just wants to show that she's supporting all of us, I guess. Yeah. Show them guns there. Show them guns there.
Eric, flex, man, Nick, flex for us all, please. Nick.
Yeah.
One more. Yeah, there we go.
Look at that. Man. So yeah, gentlemen, I appreciate you for coming on the Black and Blue Live. Amanda wants to show it again. She says, music changing lives, your team is a blessing throughout our community. I agree. I agree. So I appreciate everybody for coming on, and keep your heads up, because we're gonna get through this, and the only way we get through this is together. So appreciate you. Be safe, and yeah, let's end it here. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for joining us on the broadcast here, on the simulcast, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. This is recorded. It'll be up on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope as well. Actually, all four of them. So you can check it out after the broadcast. If you didn't get to check it out, be sure to tell your family and friends and everybody you know. So again, I thank you, and we'll talk soon. All right. So like I always say on my podcast, y'all know what to do out there. Stay black and blue. We'll holler at you. Peace.